Shut up and sit down.
Greetings everyone, welcome to Epic Fail number 132. After just a slight delay there with some tech issues, aka Windows, your update blows. My name is Draven Dresden. With me, as always, currently from her cell phone, but we are working on that. We have a Scarlet. Before we get into any of the news, Scarlet, how have you been doing this week? I'm curious.
I'm excited because you know what happened? I got to play the lottery. No, I moved like 3 weeks ago.
Which lottery is this? Is this the Lost lottery where you win money, you get on a plane, and no one hears from you ever again? Is this the Island lottery where you're a clone? And spoilers, if you win the lottery, you're actually being killed for organs? Or is this like just a plain money lottery, not laundry?
Neither. None of those. I got to play the Hearthstone pack opening lottery.
I think we're going to talk about shortly.
It was fun on my phone. I'm good. I have news. I may be able to game in a couple weeks. We shall see. That'll be awesome if it downloads on this internet. But anyways, hopefully I'll have
it might take all night, but I'm sure it'll download.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
Also, hi, Alessandra in chat. Hi, Howland.
Yes, hello, everybody.
Sorry, and everybody else.
Sorry.
Oh, and late. Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Yep, that's actually, if I know correctly, that's actually the Carrie from the raid team.
Yay, Carrie from the raid team. Yay, hi.
But last week I did mention a guest. You've heard him if you were here during the pre-show, and if you haven't, you probably still know who he is based on, the terrible pun of last week, or if you're in chat right now, the graphic that's on screen. Ro, how have you been? What have you been doing game-wise? All that other fun stuff.
What? Oh, hi. Pardon me. Let me put down my phone. I was doing my 200th Hearthstone dungeon run. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, it's Hearthstone dungeon run week. Anyone who ever had any kind of interest in Hearthstone has been doing dungeon runs and nothing but dungeon runs. I myself am one of them. I'm addicted to Hearthstone dungeon runs. I may need a 12-step program before all is said and done. And I have only cleared the dungeon run on the Hunter, so 1 class down, 8 classes to go. And yeah, it's been all Hearthstone for me. I'm hooked on kobolds and catacombs, and I am not one of the many masses of people on the Hearthstone Reddit who is holding torches and pitchforks about the lack of support for Deathstalker Rexxar, although I do think it's sad. I'm not ready to murder Blizzard for it.
That's probably
likewise.
Good. You want to hear a funny story?
We have lots to talk about.
Oh,
yes.
It gets better. You want to hear a funny story? There's a game on the Blizzard app that I used to play. You guys have both mentioned it now.
Yeah.
I may or may not have loaded it up today for the first time in since before Ungoro.
Nice.
Just for the dungeon run.
And
I have not cleared it on anybody yet.
It's hard.
My best was a paladin, and I got to fight number 5.
Oh, just wait till you get to one of the final bosses.
Oh, yeah.
Just when you think you couldn't have been humiliated or spanked any harder, some of these final bosses are rough.
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited.
Yeah?
Okay, I haven't cleared any. I did get to the final boss, but you know the rogue one where they play the rogue quest?
Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
Okay, so on that one, I had one of the loot cards before, and it said steal 3 cards from your opponent's hand, and I got that in my opening mulligan. I stole the rogue quest from that, made it so easy. It was so easy.
Ah, nice.
I literally jumped, and then the people that were around me were like, they don't game and don't understand gaming, so they were really, honestly, very confused why I was yelling at my phone.
I tried Warrior. I got the number 4, fight 4, which I know they're random, but it seems like there's an option between 2 or 3 different things for each fight. So I got to fight 4. I don't remember who it was, and then I just got decimated every time I got there. Paladin, I got to 5. That's the one I got the furthest on. And then I tried the mage, and I got some weird prizes and treasures, like, hey, here's free mana at the beginning. And then the next treasure I got to was like, here's free mana or double HP. I was like, I don't know which one of these to pick. I legitimately didn't know. I was like, both of these would be amazing. In hindsight, I should have went with a double HP because I lost. But it would have been, it was interesting. What was it, Kazakis? Is that one of the legendary names of, I think, previous expansion?
Yep.
Where if you have no duplicates, you get to, like, create a potion?
Mm-hmm.
One of the treasures I got was 2 of them.
Sounds fair.
If you draw,
wait a minute.
I got 2 Kazakis, which means I had duplicates in my deck.
Well, yeah, like Scarlett said, if you draw 1 Kazakis, then you don't have a duplicate Kazakis in your deck, so he still works. As long as you don't have duplicates of any other card, you're fine with having 2 Kazakis.
Yeah, I have no idea. I likely had it, but it was just one of those things. It was like, here's 2 cards that you can't have duplicates for, so here's a duplicate for it. I'm like, thank you. I thought it was funny. It was annoying but funny.
I had an option for 3 Sylvanuses. I didn't pick it because I needed spells, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was going almost pure Frost Mage when I could.
So, 2 stories I have to share about Hearthstone dungeon runs really quick. The one run I cleared was with Hunter, and I chose almost nothing, but whenever the treasure package showed up that said shot, so it was like some sort of arrow or damage spell or something like that, I choose those almost exclusively because the item I got early on was +3 spell power. So pretty much anything that did a little bit of damage normally did a lot of damage. And I went full on face hunter mode against pretty much anything I fought with those shot spells to, crowd control and kill stuff that was attacking me. And I just shot arrows all the way to victory. On that run, I want to say my 4th boss encounter was a little mage known as Miss AFK, and I beat AFK in about, I want to say, like 3 or 4 turns. She was easy, piece of cake. All she does is just idle. Idle is her hero power. So it's like, wow, okay, so Hearthstone's giving me a free win. That's awesome. That's great. Fast forward a couple runs later, I'm on my mage, and AFK is the 5th encounter. I'm like, oh, hey, I get a free win on my 5th encounter. That's awesome. So, I'm doing my thing. I got my mana worm out. I'm chipping in a little damage here or there, and I'm thinking, well, this is taking a little longer than last time, but I should kill her by like turn 6 or 7, no problem. Turn 5 comes around, and she says, oh, are we fighting? Then all of a sudden, she plays a spell called Boots of Haste, which says, all your minions cost 0 this turn, and I blink. And I'm like, oh no.
What?
The next thing I see is a whole line of 8/8 giants be summoned for 0 mana on the play field. Then she casts a spell called Bag of Stuffing, which completely fills her hand so that she can play the last 1 or 2 giants she can to have a whole line of 8/8s. So basically, little warning, I mean, this is kind of spoilers for that dungeon encounter, I know, but if you go up against AFK, you better kill her in 4 turns, because if turn 5 comes around, you're in trouble.
So I've heard it's turn 5 or turn 6.
Okay.
It's not set. Because I saw someone going earlier.
It might depend on her difficulty, like how soon in the encounter you run into her, because some of these things you can counter them earlier or later, and their powers and abilities vary. So that might have something to do with it also. But yeah, I hit turn 5, and next thing I know, whole line of giants. And I'm like, I'm about to get beat by AFK. This is the most humiliating thing ever.
Or hilarious.
I have a question. Yeah. I have a question about the dungeon runs. Did you notice that some of the hero powers change depending on what class you're playing? Or did I just notice that wrong?
The hero powers of the enemies or yourself?
The enemies.
So the hero powers of the enemies depend on how early you fight them. For instance, there is a character which is the Kobold Pirate, and his hero power gives minions charge. Early on, that hero power costs 1 mana to give the minions charge. If you fight him on encounter 6 or 7, for example, the power costs nothing. So everything's always going to have charge.
Because there's one that, like, I swear when you cast spells, it draws him a coin, but then other times it puts minions on the board.
Yeah, that could be the case too. I mean, early on it could just give him coins to get stuff out. Later on, I could see the minions just coming out for free. But yeah, the abilities and the deck composition of the enemies vary depending on how far into the run you play them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there is also the one that is 2 heroes you got to fight, and they each have their own separate health pools, and they tag team in and out. And I didn't realize that when I fought them, so I'm throwing spells left and right, no problem, and I kill one of them, and then the other one shows up, and he has 12 health, and I have no spells to stop incoming damage. Like,
I have not run into this yet. You see, and that's the awesome thing about
that one either.
That's the awesome thing about this too. I'm sure there's a whole lot of encounters I haven't run into. I mean, there's definitely a good list of common encounters, like things that you see pretty much all the time. But those rare encounters can be really interesting treats. One thing I can say proudly is I am one of the few and the proud that can say I walked into a room of traps and survived. If you ever get the trapped room, you will understand how difficult that is to win.
Since we're still talking about
kobolds
and candles right now, Scarlett, you'll get a kick out of this. I'm not 100% sure on this, but there is Marsh something Max. There is he likes making potions and something to do with fungus and all that other thing. I don't remember a whole lot. I'm sure you guys by now have fought him. He sounds like
there's a kobold that makes potions. Yeah.
Scarlett, you'll recognize my reference here. He sounds like Victor in kobold form. And that's a critical role reference.
Sound off. I've been playing with my sound off, so I should really turn that on.
Yeah, for anyone who actually does the whole critical role thing that I know she does, you'll just listen to it. It sounds like Victor as a kobold, and I was like, I want to like tweet at him. I was like, "Did you do that?" Because that would be cool.
Maybe because I think he may have because he said he did the song and other various things for the game.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Mercer. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably.
Yeah. Question from chat from Alessander. Not a big. She loves D&D, not card games like Magic. Think she'll like this Hearthstone thing.
Yes.
I stopped playing Hearthstone a long time ago. This dungeon run thing, I'm thinking might be the thing that gets me back into it because I don't have to buy any cards.
You get to play with powerful rare cards without having to buy them. That's one of the coolest things too.
Yeah,
I mean, if you've ever been sad that you never got a chance to play Ragnaros the Fire Lord, well, play a mage, wait for the fire package to come around, and you'll likely get Ragnaros in it.
Or if you're like me, you'll get 2 of them available, and I'll be like, I know I said I'm going Frost, but I want 2 regulars.
You can get them an Elemental Priest as well.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, you don't get to pick your entire deck in as much as, well, you do, but kind of. It's weird.
You get to guide it.
Yeah.
It kind of. You get packages and you can kind of influence and guide how your deck's going to play out. But I will admit that some of the dungeon run is a bit dependent on the luck of the draw, as far as like what items and cards you get offered to you, what bosses you go up against. I mean, you can try. For some encounters, you can play as well as possible and go in with what you think is the best deck possible, and you may just get mismatched against that one wrong enemy. For instance, the Hunter deck that I had was full of a ton of spells. Had I played that Hunter and run into a Trog encounter, which I ran into on my Mage, I would have been in a lot of trouble because that Trog encounter was full of things that made him better if I played spells. Like anytime you play a spell, he draws a card for free.
Yeah, I would have been screwed on my Mage if I would have done that because I was almost full spells. Yeah. So overall, so far, minus the weird Rexar thing that I heard about, but I don't know the details of, and honestly don't
I
care.
can give you the nutshell version.
Sure.
You know, so Rexar, the Death Knight Rexar ability lets you make new zombie beasts by combining the abilities of 2 other beasts, basically. It lets you take 2 beasts and put them together and make one big beast. Okay. People are complaining because Deathstalker Rexar's ability is not using the new beasts introduced from kobolds and catacombs in the pool. So the ability isn't getting crazier or more fun. And on top of that, when the next set rotation happens in like March or April, when the new set comes in, and Karazhan and Mean Streets and Old Gods rotate out, Rexar will have even less beasts to pull from because they aren't updating his beast pool, but those things will not be in standard. So essentially people are complaining that Rexar is not being updated and kept up with new content.
The reason they said they're not updating it, though, is because it's not taking something that's already in the game. It's melding things together. And because Hearthstone is in 15 languages, it was too hard to and timely to do that for the new ones because it's putting new cards into the game.
It's a localization nightmare or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least now I know what the issue is. I can't say I care enough to be all, yeah, like a lot of other people are, but I can see both sides. It would be nice if a card that was in standard play would keep up to date and such, but at the same time, meh. It's Rexar.
But also, I mean, Death Knights are going to rotate out at some point as well, so...
Yeah, they will rotate out in like March or April of 2019.
19, yeah.
Yeah. But since we've spent a good while on Hearthstone, there is something else Hearthstone besides the new dungeon crawl thing, which I'm loving so far. My limited experience of 15 matches or so. They did data mine a new card back, which appears to be Collector's Edition WoW related for the upcoming expansion because it's got the Horde flag on kind of colors on one side, the Alliance colors on the other side, and they're both on fire.
You know, usually when it comes to like a digital deluxe edition or a collector's edition, it's because the pet is really cool or the mount is really cool that I get that kind of thing. And I didn't do that for Legion this time around, oddly enough. I haven't upgraded to digital deluxe or anything. This card back alone may make me go digital deluxe on Battle for Azeroth because it's that freaking cool.
It is really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice card back. I'm a good 10 plus card backs missing now because I skipped all those months. Mm-hmm. But since you brought up Digital Deluxe and all that, I want the box because I like getting the art book and the DVDs for the behind the scenes and all that other fun stuff. So
I'm too much of a hoarder as it is. I have no space for collector's edition boxes.
I know the feeling, but I still want the box.
Right.
But I generally will also be like, pet, mount. If those are cool, I get the collectors. If they're not cool, then I don't. But whenever it comes out, I probably will go ahead and reserve a box. And then if I don't, then I can always cancel that reservation. But that card back does look cool, admittedly.
So we were able to pre-order the expansion for Legion, at least 6 months early, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that, if it's coming in before they expect to patch Hearthstone again, then that means summertime release date?
Well, I'm expecting something Hearthstone probably mid-March-ish. That'll probably be the next something Hearthstone related. But
right, it's every 4 months. So if there was a release in early December, then your next release is going to be like early April if they stick to the 4 months per thing. So that would mean that if they came out with this card back, there's a possibility for the pre-order to be available sometime between now and the first week of April. Which could put the release at anywhere between, say, July and October.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do know the Christie Golden Book got pushed back from May.
Sorry. You didn't hear that.
No, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear a thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. You just looked at me weird. I thought you were going to say something. But I do know the Christie Golden Book for the in-between expansion book that they've been doing got pushed back. And usually that gets put out like right around the same time the expansion comes out. And it got pushed back to like July.
Which means we shouldn't even expect the expansion until at the very earliest late July.
July,
which
August.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So that means about 6 months, say 7 months of Antaurus.
Which is fine. 7 months is fine. A year isn't.
I would, for the last raid, I would say 9 months is about where kind of got to draw the line.
Sure.
But if it gets to up close to a year, as long as it doesn't hit the 1 year marker, as long as we know what's coming and we're getting a little bit of information, but a year is too long for a raid.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's their hope that the content that comes out with 7.3.5 will kind of stretch things out and make things a bit more engaging and appealing. You'll have the level scaling changes. People have reasons to level alts again and all that fun stuff. And my conspiracy theory, I'll spread it to this podcast as well since I've mentioned it on other shows. I am fairly convinced that one of the carrots for the pre-order will be some degree of early access to allied races, or at least some of the allied races. Like, we may not be able to get Zandalari Troll access because it's like closely tied to the expansion, but I wouldn't be surprised if they say, okay, if you pre-order Battle for Azeroth, you can do the storylines to unlock Lightforged Draenei, Void Elves, and other classes now.
It's funny you mentioned that. There's something coming up later in the show that kind of hints that we might be getting it sooner than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just put that off to the little side burner. We'll pick that up, set it over here for now.
Yep.
And we'll get back to that. Don't run away. But yeah.
I'm running away. What?
No, you're not allowed running away either.
I already ran away.
Okay. Well, speaking of running, king of terrible segues, right here.
Horrible.
Hanzo, because he runs.
Up walls.
Oh, yeah. Except
That was a horrible segue.
hence the comment of king of horrible segues. He's coming Tuesday to Heroes of the Storm. Yay?
That segue is about as bad as the skill of a Hanzo main. Speaking of Hanzo mains.
Are you a Hanzo main, Ro?
Oh, I am so not a Hanzo main, which is sad because I have one of the coolest skins in Overwatch, and it happens to be a Hanzo skin, so I hardly ever use it. It's like a skin that actually changes his ultimate ability from dragons to wolves.
Cool one.
But I never play Hanzo because Hanzo's a frustrating character to play in Overwatch. And I will say I did not play Hanzo on the PTR. I did play Hanzo at BlizzCon, and I personally can't say that he's my kind of hero, but not every hero has to be my kind of hero. So
that's the thing I like about hero. The thing I like about heroes. Everyone can play whatever, even if you're a filthy Hanzo main.
Yep, and for me, I am a Lily main, and since Lily got some very impressive buffs, and since this support change, which actually did not really affect her that much, in my opinion, she's doing just fine. Life is good right now in Heroes of the Storm for me. People are fine with me running Lily. I remember a day and age where if I played Lily in Hero League or if I played Lily in Quick Match, people are like, why the hell are you picking that dumb support character? Why are you picking such an easy mode support? Well, they're not saying that anymore, and that makes me happy.
I actually picked Lily for a while, but even in Hero League, and I just messaged people. I was like, I'm going damage build. And they're like, that's where I was like, trust me. We'll be fine. Give me another support, even if it's like a little minor support like a Tyrande or something. We'll be fine. We just got to play slow for a couple levels. Once we get to 7, we're good. And they were like, okay. We got to level 7, and then that's when I started ramping my stuff up, and I took Water Dragon and not Jugs. This is before the change. And all of a sudden, my numbers went from to holy crap to, oh, guess what? We just won. I got MVP. Thanks for playing. See you next time.
I only go damage build when there's like a Malfurion or like a Morales ends up being in the mix. Then I'll be like the secondary support. But otherwise, I tend to go full support.
That's the smart way to do it. So I did it whenever her damage build was technically busted.
Yeah.
For a couple of weeks, and I would first pick Lily, and people were like, why are you first picking that? I was like, because it's fun.
Because Lily? That's all you need to know. Lily? Now shut up and pick your hero.
So, and then that reminds me of the time I was like, I mained KT for a week, not knowing about a bug until the last...
Hold up.
Sorry.
Hold up.
Sorry. No.
You said KT. Now
at the time KT. Now it's Kael'thas.
Okay, because there's only one KT.
There's only one KT. Yes.
Okay.
At the time that he wasn't in the game though, so he was KT at the time.
All right.
But Kael'thas, the Fire Mage.
Yes.
That we killed and then had to kill again because he had a green crystal stick. I still want that Blizzard.
It was merely a setback.
Yes. But I didn't realize there was a bug until the last day, and like before they fixed it. And I was like, I gotta try this bug out. So I went into Quick Play, and I did not want to go into Hero League to exploit a bug because
versus AI.
No, I didn't want to play against AI. So I went again in Quick Play, and I figured out. I found out what the bug was. I used it, and my team was like, WTF, man, you just ran right into it. I was like, it's okay, I got this. And then they saw my numbers jump. And I was like, yeah, this is busted. No wonder everyone's banning him everywhere. He had a damage buff where you had infinite mana recharge and infinite living bombs. As long as you do not use your trade on him again, you could just keep throwing them out. And your damage just went through the roof. It was like there was no cooldown. It was like 1 second, back up. Just as soon as it came off, go again. And it was like, this is wrong. And the enemy
seems balanced.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just the Lily story just reminded me of that. And I thought it was amazingly funny. But yeah, don't cheat in Hero League or ranked games, guys. That's bad.
Well, boy, for a segment about Hanzo, we've talked very little about Hanzo.
I mean, it's Hanzo. Here's the thing. I usually buy the heroes either with in-game gold or cash. Most of the time it's gold because there are other skins I don't care about. Week of, they come out. Anna, I didn't. I waited for her to go on sale to 10K. Hanzo's going to be another one that I wait. I don't care. Like, I'll go into try mode, and if I find that I really like him, because I didn't play him on the PTR either, then okay, fine. Maybe I'll pay the 15K gold, but I'm not paying cash for him, and I probably am not going to buy him until next week because
I'm not going to buy him, period. The only way I end up with Hanzo unlocked on my roster is if I get him in a loot box or if I win him in a giveaway.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm one of those people, I will eventually have all of them because right now I do. I actually own every hero in the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I never said I was sane. And if I did, everyone would know I was lying anyway, so. But,
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, I like having the low-level heroes like that just for the quick leveling for loot boxes, for, like, events and stuff. Like, Halloween, when Halloween comes around, I have a couple of low-level heroes that I will play just because it's faster to level them than my rank 37 Zool. I can get
That's it.
5 or 6. Oh, I got a bunch of them in the 30s, so.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I don't think your overall level is 37, so. Yeah.
Probably not. It's probably like 18 or 19.
Yeah. But enough about heroes, because I'm probably the only one who really cares anyway.
I care about heroes, I just don't care about Hanzo.
Fair enough.
Speaking of Hanzo,
Overwatch. And there was actually some Hanzo played during the Overwatch League preseason games, which weirded me out, because I never see Hanzo in any of the other games. Not a lot of Hanzo. There was a couple, but
the thing that excited me the most, was Moira got to see some action in preseason play. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to catch all the games. I managed to catch a couple of them. Seoul versus Shanghai and Houston versus Dallas, because they were the ones that I thought would be the best technical games, even if they weren't necessarily the closest. And I was very much upset at the Seoul Shanghai game just because I thought it was going to be closer than that, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it's I talked to actually John Horstman from the Overwatch Daily Show, new podcast he has out. Check it out. But I talked to him earlier tonight before the show and asked him for his impressions on like preseason and stuff. And he said, just take everything you saw with the preseason with a grain of salt. The teams that may have not performed well on the scoreboard doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be that way in the regular season, especially when you consider that during the preseason, all the teams need to play everyone on their roster at least once. So, yeah, I still think that the preseason was great. I thought the production quality was amazing. That stage that they have set up at the Blizzard Arena is fantastic. It's like, it blows away anything they ever did at BlizzCon. It's high tech to the extreme, and I want to go to Southern California just to watch an Overwatch League game.
That would be awesome to see it live.
I know some people that are actually planning on doing just that. Admittedly, they live a lot closer than we do.
Right.
They're out near LA, but, if they do a traveling thing, like actual physical sports, and they have the home teams and they do that, it'll be a little easier if they have like a Pittsburgh team, because that's really the only way I'll get to see one, because they ain't bringing anybody to Ohio.
Blizzard Arena, New York, 2018. It's going to happen.
That would be really cool if it does.
I have no confirmation or inside info, but I feel like next year, one of my predictions for next year is that we will hear about the announcement of 3 new Blizzard esports arenas. One will be in Seoul, one will be in Europe, probably London, and one will be in New York. And so, like, for their second season of Overwatch League, they'll actually be able to do some degree of team traveling.
That could be.
It's possible.
That's very, very, very likely.
I mean, I heard that all the teams that are in Overwatch League have to have their own arenas or whatever, so having a multiple bigger areas, I don't know how else to phrase that, wouldn't be a bad idea for, like, no home field advantage type thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I personally, for Overwatch League, I'm looking forward to Flower getting old enough to play, because I've seen some of his playing, and I'm like,
Who's Flower?
he is one of the best players on the planet, even though he's not old enough to play in the league.
He's like, what, 15?
He's like 6 months too young, so he can play next season.
Yeah.
But Widowmaker, he's considered, I think, the best Widowmaker in the world. And a couple of the other heroes, he's considered one of the best, if not the best. But just watching him play, if he would,
does he stream? How do you see him play?
He's old enough in the, like, Korean tournaments, because they don't have the age limit. He just wasn't old enough to meet the U.S. minimum. But if he was in the season 1, preseason, all that, I'd be like, they're winning. Why? Because Flower's on the team. I've never seen him lose.
You could say that team has flower power. Yeah, I'm here all week, guys.
So, Ro, about
that was
that,
awesome.
I'm the one who does the bad jokes. Because if you do them, I could just sit. I mean, I could just sit back and be like, "Yep, Ro's gonna do my job for me." But
stealing my segues, inserting dad jokes. What the hell?
I know. But we do have other Overwatch stuff. The Winter Wonderland is coming, I believe, Tuesday?
I think so.
I didn't catch a date on it, but I think it was Tuesday, like the 12th or something like that.
Yep.
That sounds right. And it's May, again.
Amazing.
Yeah, but this time...
It's not the amazing brawl we had last year.
Yeah, this time she's getting hunted by Winston. I mean, whenever you hear them talk about it, they're hunting Winston, but really, it's Winston doing the hunting because he's gone insane.
Yeah,
aw, poor Winston.
Winston's just had a little too much meat in his diet, and he's full of the primal rage that comes from eating too much meat. He's in desperate need of an outhouse, and he'll go through every May possible to find it.
That wasn't where I was gonna go with a joke like that, but I'm glad it happened. So the brawl.
I'm just trying to live up to the epic fail standard, okay? It's hard.
You're making us look bad at this point. Wait.
So mission accomplished.
Totally, yes.
But yeah, it's 6 people. 5 people get to be May, 1 people get to be Winston. Apparently, you get to pick a preference.
Mm-hmm.
So you
really?
you can be like, hey, I want to play Winston, and there's a possibility you'll get to play Winston. But because there's only 1 Winston allowed, you may get stuck with May anyway. But play it enough times, you'll get to play Winston. But it's basically boss fight.
Yeah, I'm going to do what Jeff suggested in his video, and get 5 friends, queue up as a group of 6, and we will each take a turn playing Winston.
And if you need an extra body, I know I'm not on your friends list yet because I just never added you.
Wow.
It's okay.
Nothing against him. I'd never had room, and then they upped it, and I just
my friends list is always around 197, 198. So anytime I end up adding someone, I'm like, okay, who do I need to cut now?
Yeah, I'm the same way. A lot of mine are offline a lot of the time, or like if they're offline for so long, or I don't talk to them for so long, then they get cut very few exceptions. I've had one person on my list, even though they have been offline for 3 years now. I won't get rid of them because I actually know them, and there's a chance they'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, 5 May versus 1 Winston. Basically, as I understand it, you're hunting Winston as he's creeping around the map, looking for, as Ro put it, meat, because I think that's actually what they called it. And once he gets enough, he gets permanent primal rage, and that's when the Mays run away or die.
It should be bananas.
It feels like, well, he's playing the role of a yeti, so he has the yeti skin, so I get the meat thing. It feels to me like this is kind of their take on, like, have you guys seen recently the Friday the 13th game on Twitch?
I have not. I've heard about it, but I heard about the old game, and I was like, another one of those? Don't care.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like a survival hunted type of thing where you can hunt the one bad guy, but more often than not, he's hunting you, and the goal is more likely to escape rather than to take him out. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I thought the May thing last year was great. I'm kind of hoping that maybe the arcade will have the old brawl too, because I love that, because the brawl last year was basically golden gun mode from GoldenEye in Overwatch, and that was awesome.
As long as they fix the map, that's the only thing. Because there were so many bugs with the ice wall and getting up in the ceiling, so you could shoot out, but they couldn't shoot in, that kind of thing. As long as that got fixed.
They fixed ages
there
ago.
were still some of them, though, at the end. Even at the end, there were still some places.
No, I mean, like, after Christmas last year, they fixed that, so it shouldn't be possible now.
But like I said, as long as that got fixed, I got no problem with it coming back. Let's see. Diablo news. Okay, that about sums that up.
I miss playing Diablo. I didn't think I would ever say that, but I got into it before I left, and now that I have no PC, I'm really itching to play it again. So hopefully in a couple weeks, I'll be able to again.
Maybe.
I miss missing Diablo. If that makes any sense. Yeah. I don't miss not playing Diablo anymore, but I miss the thought of not playing Diablo.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I have a necromancer. I've got 2 necromancers, 1 seasonal. I haven't got him all the way up yet. But it's to the point where it's like, okay, I've done this. I'm right there with you, Ro. I miss missing Diablo. There were times where like, next season's coming, get in there and go. And
get
now
that stash tab.
Yeah, and now it's more to the point of, oh, it's a new season. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into Diablo and you like Diablo and you love playing it, nothing wrong with that. It is a great game. It's just one of those games that, in my case, I play in spurts. Like, I'll go, okay, this week, here's 97 hours of Diablo. That is way too much. I'm never going to actually do that, but there you go. And then there are, 3, 6, 9 months that I won't touch it again.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just how it happens. It's one of those games that's how it works for me. I'll play a bunch of it at once, and then I just won't touch it again for a while. Then oh crap, Diablo, new stuff. Okay.
Speaking of new stuff, I hear there's a new raid in World of Warcraft.
Yes, there is.
There is?
Yeah, Scarlet would know. She can't get in the game. Her phone is not.
Hey,
her phone doesn't have the memory.
I will have you know, I watched half of the videos.
Yeah.
So I sort of know the fights. Not really.
So, Ro, how far have you gotten? That's my first question for you.
In normal mode, my team has been working on both Antoran High Command, and Portal Keeper Hazabel.
Okay.
We are very casual friends and family raid teams, so raid 4 hours a week. So it's a very casual pace as far as progression. We're definitely not going to be joining the ranks of Method, Exorcist, or Limit, who are right now 10 out of 11 Mythic.
Oh, yeah, that
Why
race.
That race.
That race. After one day, they cleared all the way through except for the last boss. One day.
Yeah.
It was like,
I mean,
within
talk about 16, eating too much at the buffet table too soon.
I mean, within 16 hours, the U.S. had cleared 9 out of 11. Within, I think it was 16 hours in Europe too. They were 10 of 11, and thus far, last checked, no one has gotten the last boss yet.
Yeah.
But it was just.
It's insane.
iRun says 3 months of prep time will do that.
Yeah, that helps. Gear helps. Split runs helps. I mean, all that stuff helps. It's just whenever someone like me watches, because I used to keep up with the races, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're going to clear it in 1 week. Like, well, that kind of doesn't make it fun anymore. And it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm seeing kill from multiple teams, and then it starts slowing down, and you get, the top of the top. Seeing all but the last boss within 1 day. If it was within 1 week, it would have been better. But within 1 day, just like, come on.
Yeah, it feels like the rest of the raid is simply a warm-up for the final boss encounter, and it's all about that final boss fight, it seems. It's a shame to me, because I remember raid races like, say, in Wrath of the Lich King, Ice Crown Citadel. I remember that back then there wasn't Mythic, it was just Heroic was the race, and Heroic Blood Queen Lanathel was a big roadblock for a lot of guilds.
Yeah. And then there was of course, the Lich King himself, which didn't get a legitimate kill until he was nerfed, or just before he got nerfed.
Yep.
Or we got buffed, technically, but yeah. So, Ro, you're looking at Portal Keeper and High Command.
Yeah, the 3rd and 4th bosses.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually not bad. Do you guys, not to go too much into strategy, but you guys know the fight at this point, and you're just looking for execution, or is there something that's kind of...
Oh, well, for Portal Keeper, we have gotten to the Enrage, so it's just a matter of cleaning things up, being a little tighter on DPS, not losing anyone to some stupid stuff. High and Torn Command, it feels like we need to tighten some things up there as well, but with High and Torn Command, people need to stop stepping on mines. Like, they really, really need to stop stepping on mines.
Yeah.
Like, no, seriously, guys, mines, don't stand in them.
Yeah. Stop it! Yeah, I'm raiding in 2 different groups, one on my Paladin main and one on my Mage. And then if I pug, I will pug on something. Usually I'll take someone, but one of the groups in particular has that same issue. Not as bad. I mean, they figured out, don't step on the mines. We figured out that even though my Paladin is one of our raid team's higher DPS, throwing me in the pod and keeping me healed is an overall damage increase, because I actually know what I'm doing in there.
Yeah, you actually want to put your lower DPS in the pods as long as they know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, if possible. I got thrown in there because I had previous experience because of my Mage, because I volunteered. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, no problem. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll figure it out. And we did a poll, figured it out. Next poll, we didn't get it down because DPS was a little low that poll, but we did eventually get it down. I figured it out, and then we one-shot it on my Paladins group, because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to dot everything, because I figured out you can keep the 15 plus stacks of the debuff on the boss, and then you can throw out a shot on an ad, back on the boss, back on the ad, and you can keep both of the stacks up really high.
Oh.
So you
This
can
is something
you can
I
get the
did not
dot
think
on
about.
multiple targets as long as you are clicking quick. Yes, thank you, Helen.
That's-
Finally a use for me.
Now, that's good to know, because one of the things we were having trouble with on Antoran High Command was ads going down fast enough, and I kept the debuff on the boss. And people said, well, maybe we should switch to putting it on the ads instead. So the next time we were going to do that, I was going to do that. But I did not think about just, switching targets fast enough, and you can keep it on both.
Yep. If there's like 3 ads, it's going to be really hard to get it on all of them. But
You want to get that Flamekeeper down first and foremost.
the Pyromancer you want down.
Yeah.
But what I've done is stack the boss up first, and then target the other things, 1 or 2 shots, and then right back as soon as you can to the boss to keep that stack up so they're taking as much damage as possible, and then you go to the next one and the next one, and all 3 of them you can do that, and then it's just the number 2 key that's different.
Yeah.
Our group, I don't know if this is what you guys are doing or not, we will, the first missile command fuselage thing, we don't use a shield. That way we have an
because
extra
the
one
damage
later.
is so low from it.
Yeah. So that way we have an extra one for later if we need it.
That's also a good idea that we did not do.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Lessons to take into my raid team on Sunday.
You personally are going to love the A&R fight, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Unless you get put in that other group that literally will stand there for 90% of the fight doing nothing. At least on normal.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. I'm really looking forward to A&R. So maybe with a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill, we'll get to see it on Sunday. Don't know.
Your group, even at friends and family, as long as people know what they're doing, ish.
Yeah.
3 attempts maybe tops.
Nice.
I mean, it's on normal. It's not hard. It's just one of those things you got to get the timings down, the AOE down, the bosses, and all that.
Yeah.
I have a question. For your raid team's murder, like, what's the number of bosses you've killed? Like, are you 10 out of 11, 11 out of 11?
We're just doing normal so far because we want to clear it. Monday, we're going to fight Argus again. So far, we have 2 pulls on Argus, and both of them are what we call YOLO pulls. No explanation, no food required, no buffs or nothing like that. It's just, hey guys, we got 4 minutes left to raid. Let's go hit him a few times. First time we did that, 40%. We literally got to the point where he ads. I'll just say ads because I don't want to do any spoilers. We didn't get to the holy crap, did he just really do that moment? But because I've seen the fight, so I know what all is there. But I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But yeah,
don't spoil it.
We've got we've got about 2.5 hours. That's about how long we raid at night. That we have to fight him. So we're probably gonna get him.
Nice.
That's awesome. I hope you guys do.
I'm hoping I get double trinket because I could really use those trinkets.
Yeah, they'll go in your bank with your 27 other ones.
No, they'll go. One of them will get equipped. Whichever. If I get both, I have to. Obviously, it's going to be Amanthul because it's just better, and that's a 3rd legendary. But if I only get one, it's getting equipped. It's just what am I equipping with it? So, but yeah, Mythic Race. Have you experienced the elevator row? I have to ask.
My raid has. I didn't die to it. A few members of my raid team did.
Okay. I went into LFR on multiple characters this week, and I know it's LFR. What was I thinking?
Oh.
Did you just do it for the elevator?
That was one of the 2 reasons. The other reason was possible gear and quest from the order hall for gear.
Mm.
But literally, the people in the know about the elevator didn't give any context at all. But as soon as we started down the hallway towards it, we started throwing out numbers. 5, 8, I guess 12. And
I guess 4 in my raid finder run, and I was off by 1.
Yeah, and we all knew what we were doing.
Yep.
We were taking bets on who would be closest to who was gonna die. And so far, I've been lucky enough not to get squished.
How many died in your LFR run?
Well, let's see. I did it 4 times, so it averages about 4 people, ish. When my paladin went, when my paladin went, only 1 person died. When my mage went, like 3. My DK, like 5, and then when I took my shaman in, it was like 12.
So, Draven, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is your character, or do you have a character that's an engineer?
I have a character that's an engineer. I have not taken them in there. That being said, I know where you're going with it.
Because I hear there's an item called a swap blaster that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've been really lucky so far, and all of my characters have some sort of movement enhancer, whether it is my paladin getting on the horse with a speed buff, my mage with blink, wraith walk for my death knight, and all that kind of thing. So I haven't had to worry about it. So I stay back far enough out of range of that, because we have certain raid members, and I'm not going to mention Theory's name here, who like using the swap blaster on people.
Yep.
Just to troll people, and I'm like, you know what? No. So I stay back until
someone in my sights for the swap blaster tomorrow. We'll see. They have the ability to escape. I know they have something in their tool set to be able to escape if they get swap blasted. So we'll just see how on their toes they are.
Yeah, and here's a pro tip: Paladin bubble, mage ice block, immunities as a whole.
Yeah,
don't work.
Nice.
You get squished.
Crushed ice.
Why did they make this elevator kill you?
Because it's the final raid of Legion. The elevator needs to be brutal as blank.
Yeah. So, yes or no, Ro? All elevators like this one?
No.
Okay.
Only final raid tier elevators, because they need to be the toughest of the elevator bosses.
Okay, because I'm in favor, with the exception of the jellyfish in Throne of the Tides or whatever the Cata dungeon is.
Yeah.
All the solid elevators should squish you if they land on you.
That said, I was going to say, I hear Thunder Bluff Meat Packing Factory could use some more products. So
we need more ground beef out there. That's just wrong, dude.
Yep.
What was I doing? I don't remember what I was doing. I was doing something, and I fell off Thunder Bluff just recently. It was like just before, when I still had my computer a few weeks ago. And the graveyard is really far away.
It is.
Oh, it was the rogue mount quest where you got to go and kill stuff in Thunderbluff. And I killed the thing, and then I jumped off of Thunderbluff for some stupid reason.
As one does.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I was like, man, this is a long run back. So, yeah.
Last time I was in Thunderbluff, not for the rogue quest, because I did do that also. However, I used Vanish and then just ran away. Was intentional throwing myself off of Thunderbluff with, I don't know, 3,000 people, give or take. This is back when Gamebreaker was still a thing. That'll tell you how long it's been.
That's been a while.
That's been a while.
Yeah, that would be the heady days of Cataclysm right there.
Yep. Back when we did it just after Karen died, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of fictitious characters,
hey,
we got a nice...
That sounds like a bad segue.
It's a terrible segue. We got a nice Sparkle Dragon as our logo, which is also terrible. Sparkle Dragon is fine. It's the logo, how it shows up, that's terrible. You know. Use what you got, right?
Yeah.
Celestalon, the Sparkle Dragon, is apparently no longer being associated with WoW. So another dev is taken off of WoW. Or at least, more accurately, another dev whose name we know. is
well
not on WoW.
So I actually have the inside story on this. I know people who know people, and from what I've been told, Ian let Celestalon go to the Hearthstone team because he heard that Ben Brode and Mike Dene were getting tired of being blamed for every bad decision made in Hearthstone. And Celestalon has a lot of experience with taking blame, so they moved him over.
That seems right.
Yep.
So blame Celestalon, really?
Blame Celestalon. Hey, Deathstalker Rexar not getting the new beasts in Kobolds and Catacombs, obviously Celestalon's fault. I know he's not, fully entrenched in Team 5 just yet, but clearly we need to blame Celestalon for that, clearly.
Blame Celestalon.
Yep.
Yeah. So he announced it. Alessander in chat said he announced it months ago. I didn't see it. I just literally saw it earlier today or yesterday, whenever it was on Twitter. And
I didn't see it.
There was a nice little Hearthstone card with the little dragon on it, and it, add purple to everything +3. And I was like, it would have been so much better if it would just said blame.
Yep.
For the text on it. Maybe that'll be the mouse over. Whenever you mouse over, it's how they say stuff. Maybe it'll just say blame. But yeah, so I'm not mad about it. It's just one of those things of like, that's a guy I knew of at least. I've had a conversation with him. At this point,
I'm excited for Hearthstone.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I mean, just in terms of WoW alone, all the people whose names I knew, whether at least their online name anyway. I can't really name too many of them left on WoW except for Ian himself. There's a few, but I mean, in terms of like well known, it's like who's left?
Well, they still have quite a few people on there. It's just that they aren't really in the spotlight anymore, but it doesn't mean that they're any less important as far as what they bring to the team.
Oh yeah, no, it was just one of those recognizable names thing. That's all it is. It's like recognizable name is gone. They went to Secret Project. Recognizable name is gone. They're on Hearthstone now, or they're in Heroes now, or whatever. It's just like WoW would like some people. I mean, in Fist, I know you're going to hate this conversation, but there's allowed to be people other than Ian in the spotlight.
Are there though?
Well, I mean, not necessarily the spotlight.
I'm not like a really close friend of this or anything like that. But as a really close friend of this, I think the only person we need to really worry about is Ian Hazakostas and making sure that he is kept safe and protected
from Fist. We love you, Fist.
Oh boy, that's
you
great.
do have to. He is pretty good looking.
Yeah, we joke, but I mean, in all seriousness, we're gonna wish him and the Hearthstone team best of luck over there. All that fun stuff. I'm sure whatever he does over there will make it more interesting. So,
well, if he was the quest designer on WoW, I wonder if we're getting new types of quests and stuff on.
He wasn't really a quest designer too much, as far as I understood it. He did a couple quests here and there, such as the Lucid Nightmare quest chain. I believe that was him.
No, that was Muffinus. Yes, it was Muffinus.
Okay, there might have just been the maze that he was responsible for. I don't know, because he was taking credit for something.
Yeah, Celestalon was involved with the maze.
Okay, so he's the one, but he was more balance of characters and rotations and stuff like that. He was a numbers guy for the most part. And stories, yeah, he did quite a bit, but I know he originally started with RAR. He created that program, and that's why they hired him, because it was more accurate than their own stuff.
And now he's going to be working with Hearthstone cards, and that's just fine.
Yep. Well,
Hearthstone quests. I'm excited.
I know what else excites you. in terms of games.
What?
Pets.
Yes.
Have you heard about the new one?
Yes, and I have to say, I think, introduce it and then I'll tell you something.
Okay, so coming soon, TM, aka probably next patch. There's a pet quest chain and some other stuff, but basically the short version is you get a title and a pet. Title courier, aka mail carrier. Pet is called a mail elemental. I haven't seen a picture of it that I remember. I'm assuming it looks like an unopened letter.
It should look like a whole bunch of unopened letters just swirling in the vortex.
Yes. But
so what I was going to say is, I think this is referencing a book I just read before I came. It's a Terry Pratchett book called Going Postal. And it's all about a post office that eats letters and stuff, and letters that get lost because the post office went out of business. But from the pictures that I saw on Wowhead about this pet, the quest chain that you do to get this pet, it looks very much like what the book described the post office like. And we have nowhere else that a post office reference in WoW comes from. So I think it is a reference to the Terry Pratchett novel Going Postal. Possibly. I'm going to say that's where it comes from, which is awesome because I literally just read that book.
Yay. And if Theory here, he'd be like, was it book or was it a digital book?
It was a book.
Good. I'm okay with that. I have not read that particular book.
I think I brought the book. It's a Discworld novel.
Yes. Like I said, I haven't read it yet. It's on my list, along with many other books. But
it's very good. Yeah. So, Theory says he already knew it was a book.
So what do you think about the pet and title there, Ro?
There's a whole bunch of side quest things that I haven't done. I still haven't gotten the Lucid Nightmare yet, so that's high on my list of things to do before Legion's done. I'll probably end up getting the Mail Elemental pet at some point. I don't know if it's something that I jump on doing right away. But it's cool that they're putting in these little side things here and there to add a little variety to the content.
Well, with if you're going to get the
Nightmare.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to do the Nightmare, read the article that the WoW devs wrote about it, because it actually explains the maze a bit, so it might be easier to do the maze now.
Oh, but I'd rather just frustrate myself without that help, just like everyone else who did it the first time.
Oh. Okay.
I'd rather just get my good old graph paper out, a couple of pens, maybe a few differently colored markers.
So I've told this story before. You want to know what instead of graph paper, what I used? MS Paint.
MS Paint. Okay.
I was not aware. I was aware that it was like a 3D kind of twisty maze. I knew that, so I knew if I saw the same thing, I was like, okay, there's this, and I just drew the markers in. I did not know it was multiple levels at the same time when I did it, so that really screwed with my map. But I did eventually get it, and apparently, for those of you who want to cheat and screw yourselves over of the fun experience, there is an add-on that apparently does work. I do not recommend.
Oh wow!
It still apparently, even though the add-on is made, it still is easier with graph paper. Apparently.
Who knows?
It's a pretty mount.
Yes. It's one of my 2 unicorns. I don't have the PvP one yet. Next week, I think. Oh, let's see. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. We mentioned a raid in Antorus. And Argus. And such. So, one, they've got some really cool looking weapons. I mean, from the videos, I'm assuming you've watched some kind of videos at this point, Ro. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they look cool?
They do look cool, and I wish that my warlock could have the scythe, but alas.
He can't?
No.
Why can't you?
Scythe is a polearm, not a staff.
Oh.
Yep.
But the warlock weapon looks like a scythe.
Yep.
My paladin can equip both of them.
Yep.
I know.
Yeah, not bitter. No, not bitter at all.
Oh, well, you know. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to hold my excitement. I want the other one, though. The one that has the flaming sword.
Yeah.
That one, I think that one looks cooler. I saw there's a warrior in my one raid who has him has one. He transmogged both of his weapons to it. I'm like, you suck. But not really. So yeah, if you can equip it, aka if you're a paladin or anyone who can do pole arms or two-handed swords.
I hear that makes the scythe a hunter weapon.
Isn't everything?
Sounds like it does.
I mean, really, at this point, isn't everything anymore?
I mean, last I checked, the rotten pear I threw at the hunter, he caught it and decided to use it as a weapon, so sure.
Hunters for you.
Yeah. Damn hunters.
I know.
OP. OP-AF.
Moira?
Yep. Moira is a hunter. She plays as a hunter in WoW. Yeah. Don't tell anyone, though.
The other thing for Mantors, other than, the fun of the elevator boss, if you have cleared it already, you might want to keep clearing it. Because the last boss will give you little droplet thingies like we got in from Archimond and stuff like that you can upgrade your trinkets 5 item levels every time you do it, all the way up to 1,000. So that won't affect Amanthul because it starts at 1,000, but the other ones, the purples, get them up there and have nice
you can
purple level 1,000s.
But it's only the Pantheon trinkets that upgrade, right?
Yeah,
or
it's the Pantheon trinkets, the Path of the Titans, that you can only equip one at a time, so you can't have Amanthul and one of the other ones. You have to pick.
I will file this under First World of Warcraft problems because I am not on that boss yet.
Yeah. So.
Likewise, Ro.
Yeah. But basically, short version: if you can clear it, it's probably worth your while to clear it.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And now that we're back on this, off the side burner. If you weren't here at the start of the show, that made no sense whatsoever.
And is it burnt at all? Did it come out all right, or
a
little crispy on the edges there?
It's a little crunchy. So we'll have to have a little bit of extra water, or in my case, a carbonated beverage that is dark in color and is not Coke.
It's the other cola.
It's the good one.
You.
You're allowed having your taste. I have mine. It's all good. But
maybe.
Yeah. Whatever. So you mentioned earlier leveling and stuff like that, Ro.
Yep.
So the PTR for 735 has some interesting changes coming, such as the leveling scale, which we now know a little bit more about, and flying, which kind of took me by surprise.
It makes sense, though. I mean, it's if you have the ability to fly in Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms, then you should be able to fly in other spaces too. I mean, it's not like those areas. It's not like in order to get flying in those areas, you had to do a Pathfinder achievement. So, just simplifying it all, keeping it simple, works for me.
I'm excited about one change.
What's that?
Which one?
The fact that I got Draven to port my level 60 Death Knight to Veil of Eternal Blossoms because I thought I could go fly. And Pet Battle, it's leveling self up, means that now I can do that once I get the game back again and the PTR goes live. So I can skip questing entirely and just Pet Battle, because if you do the Pandaria Pet Battles and the Draenor Pet Battles, which I can't, but you'll get a level and a half. So I'm assuming with Pandaria one's about a level.
Will those Pandaria Pet Battle quests be available at 60 though? I think Pandaria and Cataclysm content aren't technically open for leveling until 80.
Yeah.
You good question. Guess that'll be the next hurdle I'll have to figure out.
As I understand it, with the, I'm going to call it vanilla or classic, they start roughly around the same time they normally would, but they scale all the way up to 60.
Yep, so once you go to Westfall, you can spend the rest of your classic life in Westfall if you want to, killing boars.
Yeah, just don't go to Western Plaguelands because Welcome Bear will kill you with hugs.
No, poor Welcome Bear. Why does everyone pick on Welcome Bear? I mean, Welcome Bear's just upset that everyone's questing for 20 bear asses and he doesn't have more than one to give.
But then after that, expansion-wise, since you go to 60, so between 60 and 70, or I think it's 60 to 70, maybe it's 60 to 80, you can do Outland or Wrath. And then past that, the next two expansions are the next set of levels. So Panda Land would be, I believe, 85 to 100?
Nope, 80 to 90.
80 to 90.
Panda and Cataclysm zones are 80 to 90.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. So, I mean, that part makes sense. I love that they're doing that. But I'm personally, Liz, please give me this one thing. Flying in these zones, since they all come together.
That's what they just said.
That's what they're doing. I'm asking them to combine the cost of them all.
Well,
you won't have to buy cold weather flying.
No, that's what I mean. Instead of buying it per expansion and zone and all that, make the one price you pay when you are able to fly all of the prices combined.
Why?
Because it would be funny.
No,
you have an odd sense of humor.
Yeah.
It would be funny because, I mean, at this point, I don't have to worry about it because I have flying and fast flying and all that on all of my characters that are all max level at this point. For the ones that I actually play ever, and the other ones are literally event farmers, such as Valentine's Day. But I think.
Did you know that your odds for the Love Rocket to drop are divided by the number of alts you have farming it?
That would make sense because I think last year I had 476
people who think it takes. Yeah, people who think that it takes 10 alts to farm the rocket. No, you just cut down your odds by 10%. It's true. Your odds of getting the Love Rocket are inversely proportional to the number of alts you have. Everything I'm saying is actually not true, but still,
it would make sense.
It feels that way.
I know. I mean, I'm at this point for that particular amount. I'm keeping track day to day, year to year, even through Twitter. Like I'm sending out for whatever today, for whatever for the event. Like
I cannot keep track of how many people I've seen on Twitter say, "Oh my gosh, this is my first time trying to farm the mountain. I only have 2 characters and it dropped." And then all the kind of, "Hey, congrats for you," and then behind the back, son of a.
So I get discouraged about it, but to be fair, I have seen so many Headless Horseman mounts.
That was the first event mount that that I saw drop when I tried to do event mount farming. I got that in like, man, I want to say 2012, 2011.
So you got it back when we had the item to summon the guy.
Yes.
And the entire group could loot him and not it's a personal item.
Yes.
So I've told this story before. You probably know it already too. I saw that mount so many times that with my group of people that we would do it with, we sold runs to that for that. And if it didn't drop, one of us would change alts and summon him again.
Right.
And we would keep doing that until the person got the mount. We charged like 10K a run, which during Wrath was a lot.
That's a king's fortune right there.
That's how I made most of my gold that I still am using to this day.
It's funny.
That was the Headless Horseman mount?
That was the Headless Horse mount. We saw it so many times. We were selling runs because we were like, none of us can use it. So
I don't have that one either.
So we just was like, okay, we'll take 4 of us. We'll sell a run and we'll keep running it until they get it. We generally would go 4, 5 plus people every day that we could. Sometimes less, people, but we had a ton of mounts. So the fact that I'm not seeing the Valentine's Day mount is kind of karma on me. So
pretty much.
Yeah. But you mentioned allied races and stuff like that. They've data mined some stuff that it seems to point to a lot of these races are going to be available to us, or at least a couple of them, in the next patch prior to the expansion.
I don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of allied race stuff in 7.3.5. That doesn't mean it's going to be in 7.3.5.
Yeah, but it seems to point to
I think that content is being prepped and being readied, but it very well could be that it is in 7.3.5, but that it's locked behind something and that people can't access it until maybe they pre-order Bell for Azeroth. Then who knows?
I mean, that's possible too. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised either way. We obviously
I thought they said though.
Go ahead.
I thought they said you have to be max level to start unlocking them at 120.
There might be some of them that are, like the Zandalari, I would imagine probably would be. But there might be some, like the Nightborn, that since we're right there, why not?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Either way, it'll be cool. I will gladly go through them, because I will end up, since I get an extra 6 character slots, I'll gladly do that and level again, because I need more characters to take through Valentine's Day. Are you looking?
Sounds legit.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to any in particular, Ro? Of the
Void Elf.
allied races?
Void Elf.
Void Elf.
I've said Void Elf.
I thought you play Horde though.
Yeah,
Are you Alliance?
Yes.
Are you gonna make an alliance that's a Void Elf?
Yes.
He's like me. He has characters on both sides. He's just a Horde main is all.
I'm a Horde main right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who knows? Subject to change. We'll see.
Yeah. Right now I'm on the fence of what side I want my paladin on, because I know that's my main, no matter what, unless it's completely unplayable, and then I might go to Demon Hunter, which are obsolete after this. So they've sacrificed everything now, including their character slot.
What have you given?
Blizzard, $15 a month, or in my case, about 180k gold.
Yep.
Well, when I bought them, they were a lot cheaper, so that was nice. What's that? 35k gold? Fine, I'll buy 13 of them.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to buy more soon, though. I'm almost out. Alrighty.
Sad.
I know. First world problems. I don't have enough WoW gold. Wait, yeah, I do. Okay, since I got you here, Ro, I know you collect some mounts, a little bit at least. What are your thoughts on the cost of some of these mounts, like the 500k whatchamacallit Warforged mount thingy, and then the 2 million gold spider?
So the 2 million gold spider is worth 2 million gold, which divided by 180,000 gold per WoW token is 10 tokens, which is the equivalent of saying $150 to $200 cash. Do I want to have a mount that is $150 to $200 cash? I almost said the F word, so I'll just say hell no.
If you would have, Twitch would have got a nice, ooh, Ro said a word. The audio would have had a nice little sound over what you said.
Yeah. But no, it's there is a section of the player base that has that kind of expendable gold and expendable income, and more power to them, and this is why they can have nice things, or, you know, 8-legged creepy crawly things, you know, whatever suits you. I'm fine with not having a giant spider. I will say this, for those who are afraid of spiders, you should be happy that there is a 2 million gold spider mount. Why? Because it pretty much guarantees that Blizzard's not going to make any other spider mounts that are easily accessible in the game, which means you should rarely have to worry about seeing big spider mounts.
Yeah, because you have people like me who will use various toys to make yourself super large, and then get on that mount anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that people like me do, whether it's the spider mount or not. I have the gold. I could buy it. I'm not paying that much for it. That's just, it's too much. It's not worth that much money to me to have. Same with
I could take
same with the other
100. I could take 180,000 gold. I could turn it into a WoW token. I could turn that WoW token into $15 of Blizzard BattleNet balance.
And you could buy Hanzo.
Or the actual response is, or I could buy more Kobolds and Catacombs packs for Hearthstone.
That's true.
Yes.
That's very, very true.
However you want to do it.
I had such terrible luck with legendaries and Kobolds and Catacombs. Oh my gosh. Did you guys...
I got 2 out of...
I got a pack with a double legendary, guys. And I mean, you know, usually if you open a pack with a double legendary, you should be pretty happy about that, right? But when the double legendary is literally the worst neutral legendary and the worst legendary weapon in the game, it was a sad time.
I told you earlier I logged into Hearthstone for the first time in a while. I had like 8 packs sitting there waiting on me that I didn't even realize.
Yep.
I got a legendary too. It wasn't for Cataclysm or Kobolds and Candles though. It was an one of the old school ones. I got Harrison Jones.
Nice. Well,
He's good.
He's the perfect person to handle all these legendary weapons that are in the game now.
Yeah. I was like, and then I went to go and do the mass disenchant. I was like, okay, well, I have Harrison already. And then I was like, there's no legendary. Did I really not have him? I thought I did.
Nope.
Maybe I disenchanted him because I never used him.
You opened a golden one.
I have no idea.
The notification told me, so I was on my phone.
Maybe that was the Harrison Jones then, because I only got 1 legendary.
That belongs in the museum.
Yeah. All right. Alrighty. From Chat Row, last question. Your thoughts on Classic Server?
My thoughts on Classic Server. Hooray for all the people that wanted Classic servers. I am happy for you. Have fun on your Classic server. When Classic becomes an actual thing in about a year, maybe a year and a half, I will roll up a character and I will play on the Classic server for, I'm guessing, somewhere between 1 to 3 days, and then decide, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah. I don't think I will.
It's not my thing. I'm glad that the people who wanted it are getting it, and I think it's not going to be out right away. It's going to be a year or so.
Yeah. if you wanted it, great. If you're going to play on it, great, no problem. Will I make a character there? More than likely. What it will be, who knows? Will I get to max level within 4 years? Probably not. Will I get there eventually? I don't know, maybe. But there's just too many quality of life stuff now, such as the group finder. Yeah, it sucks for, communities and stuff like that. But at the same time, we have an advantage, Ro. We're both in CTR and AIE both. We have our own built-in communities. We don't need to worry about some of the stuff that the smaller guilds have, so I'm good. I don't have to go to LFG or LFD or anything. I could literally type in guild chat, hey, I'm going to run this. Anybody want to come? Chances are I'll find somebody who I'm not really good for it. It's fine. I just need bodies. That kind of thing. So,
yup.
So we have an advantage there. So we're a little biased, admittedly. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be nearly as popular as everyone thinks it is. For a while, sure, that'll be the big thing. But overall, people are going to get there and they're going to realize, crap, we don't have any of this other stuff.
Yeah, it will be a harsh lesson, but it will be one that has to be learned.
The one thing that I hope out of everything, out of all the bugs and all that they had, the blood plague from Zul'Gurub, that's the one thing I hope they keep.
Oh, they'll do that in beta.
So that
they'll do it in beta.
They're not going to keep that.
I just, even if it's just for one day, and just be like, hey guys, blood plague is now available for this one day. I'll be like, yeah, work.
Final day of beta.
At work. I can't come in today. There's a plague going around, and I actually want to catch it.
Yeah. Sounds legit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been rambling on for a while now, so we'll go ahead and start closing up the show. Ro, you are our guest, so instead of having Scarlet start, you're the guest, so I'll do guest first. How do people get a hold of you, social media?
You can find me on Twitter at ROWOW. That's RHOWOW. I do 2 different podcasts. One is a World of Warcraft podcast called The Rolling Restart. Follow that on Twitter at RestartCast. You can look up Rolling Restart on most podcast apps and find it. And you can also find the Realm Maintenance podcast, which is a podcast that covers all podcasts that are covering all Blizzard games, like Epic Fail and many more. You go to realm-maintenance.com or follow it on Twitter at Realm Podcast.
I recommend both shows. Not just because we get listed on one of them. I've been listening to pretty much anything Rose had his name on for, oh god, Wrath era, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Back in the early days of all things at Azeroth, huh?
Oh god. That's Wrath era was when I started listening to podcasts, so at somewhere right around there. I didn't start
podcasting till late Cataclysm, early Pandaria.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've listened to Realm Maintenance pretty much every week, every time a show has come out.
Nice.
Since it started.
250 episodes. My goodness.
Yeah. So I've heard Rose's voice in my ears for a long time.
I don't know if I should be freaked out by this or not.
All right. So yeah, go listen to Rose's stuff. Wait until you're done with us first, but then go listen to Rose.
Yes.
Scarlet, how do people get a hold of you on social media stuffs?
Twitter at Scarlet_CTR. Say hi. And here on Discord, in the Epic Fail Discord, say hi as well.
Yay, hi. As for me, Twitter, easiest, at Draven Dresden. I mean, just be civil. We're cool then. Outside of that, I have another podcast that Ro knows all about, and I know Scarlet does, and some other people know. Heroes Never Die, Overwatch. All Overwatch, except for when I go off on tangents with Heroes or with WoW or something else that just my brain just goes off to the side. I try to keep it to Overwatch, though, even though I'm terrible at the game. Wood League and proud. Yeah, we do that on Tuesdays most of the time. Usually shows come out Wednesday, Thursday, depending on how busy we are. So Heroes Never Die. Fun. And that's with Totem. So, yeah, that's about it. Shout-outs. Again, I'll start with Ro. Any shout-outs for anybody? And you're not allowed getting us.
I'm not allowed to say you guys? Why not?
I don't know. It's a rule.
Oh, okay.
I just made up.
Okay, fine. No shout-outs to Draven and Scarlet because I can't. So, shout-out to Alessandra in the chat for being interactive and participating and for being probably the biggest Blizzard podcast out there. If there's a Blizzard podcast out there, Alessandra is probably listening to it and writing emails to it and participating in your chat, and you should be thankful that she exists in our lives. So, shout-out to Alessandra. You are awesome.
Yay, Alessandra! She's
nice
cool.
Voice.
Also, I hope Alessandra enjoyed her Murloc.
Murloc!
She knows what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean too.
Yes.
I have a question, since you brought that up. Was I anywhere near?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. You were actually about the bottom third of the pack.
Yes. I had an off year this year. I was this close, though, for that Overwatch loot box. Just type in disappointment.
Yeah.
Because no matter what it was, it could have been amazing. People would have been disappointed because there was so much hype around it. And I was this close. And I realized if I would have put that in there, I would have been exactly right.
Yep. That would have gotten you 20 points.
Yeah. I would have been
put you in contention.
I would have been like halfway up the list. But yeah, it was an off year overall for me. Bad. Scarlet, do you have any shout outs before I sidetrack myself again?
No. Right now my mind is like,
I'm tired, let's go bed.
It's 1 o'clock where she is. Her brain's like bed now.
Pretty much, because I normally go to bed at about 8 p.m. recently. So, yes, I'm a little zonked out.
I will forgive you. I will do shout-outs for myself then, and they will be, obviously, the live chat room. Ro, for agreeing to show up and be entertaining and make up for us.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. For our Patreon people, we know there's changes coming. We'll figure something out.
I feel like I've heard this talk on every podcast.
Every single one, yeah.
That has a Patreon. It's like, hey, patrons, we know Patreon's kind of sucking right now. We'll get back to you next episode.
Yeah, as soon as we know something, because I little known fact, if you are on there and they send you emails, we'll know before you guys do. So as soon as we know something, we'll get a hold of you and figure out what we can do to work it out. Personally, just keep it the way it is now. It's fine.
Yep.
But yeah, you can if you want to give us money via Patreon, we'll gladly take it. We don't expect it, but we'll gladly take it. Same with Ro. He'll take your money and he'll do giveaways and all that fun stuff.
Speaking of which, since you mentioned giveaway, December 19th episode of Realm Maintenance, be sure to listen to it because there be giveaways a coming.
Yay!
Ooh, awesome.
December 19th, Realm Maintenance. Listen. Okay. I'm allowed to enter.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not going to win, but I can enter. Okay, there was one other thing I was going to mention, and I just completely destroyed it in my brain. So, instead... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, it's probably better off dead anyhow.
More than likely. So instead, I will just mention, while we didn't have a live musical intro, we are currently using songs from bensound.com and Kevin MacLeod over at incompetech.com, and those are being licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. So thanks, guys. We'll continue to mention you every single time because it's not only required, but it's also nice. And they actually make some good music, so cool stuff.
Cool.
Yes, I have to get better at remembering to do that because last week I forgot and had to add it in. All right, so I think that's everything outside of whatever it was I forgot. So, do we have any last words?
Beware AFK. AFK is out to hunt you. If you give her more than 5 turns, you're doomed. Very doomed.
And now I have Gur stuck in my head. Thanks, Ro.